From Budapest, city of blood and bravery, tragedy and hope, come the first pictures of the battle which has shaken the world, and of its aftermath. Here, in a few fierce days, the post-war drama of Eastern Europe reached its climax. Tanks fought against civilians, and army against secret police, where a few days ago, all had seemed quiet on the surface. While the battle is raging, you have to keep out of the way. But a tank asks no questions. And when a country is divided against itself, the plane flying overhead may be on your side, or it may not. For many days, the fighting continues with now the government, now the insurgents gaining the upper hand. Running battles move from street to street. But as the toll of dead and wounded grows heavier, it becomes clear that the rebels must win, for they have the great mass of people behind them. Desperately, Endré Tóth's government seeks a way out. A few days ago, it had asked the Russians to help. Now it begs them to leave. But some of the Soviet tanks will never leave, for they have been captured or destroyed by the insurgents they were ordered to quell. To the outside world, the struggle seems strangely confused. For not only is the government itself caught between two fires, but the rebels are a mixture of communists and anti-communists. But one overriding desire unites the rebel forces, whatever their politics, the desire to get rid of the Russians and to work out their own destiny as a nation. Hated even more than the Russians are the Hungarian secret police, and they can expect little mercy when they are caught. Only history will show how much the machine they built was responsible for Hungary's disaster. The extent of their ultimate failure is symbolized by the piles of communist literature which lie burning in the streets. The fighting is dying down. The symbols of a discredited regime are being torn from public buildings. What will emerge from the conflicts, no one can yet say. But it'll be Hungarian and not Russian. Meanwhile, from wrecked hospitals to ruined homes, there is a terrible destruction to be cleared away. The scars of a week of horror. Some of these pictures are not pretty to look at, but they should be seen and remembered. In these streets, men, women, and children died for their freedom as a nation. A price any nation which allows its freedom to be stolen, or which steals freedom from others, may have to pay. A lesson which no country is exempt from learning, but which it is better to learn in time. Who can say the Battle of Budapest is over? The rising has triumphed. Will its demands be met? If a new and better Hungary is born, the fighting will not have been in vain.
How many words? What a life. It was nothing like Canada, that's for sure. Well, just some examples. When I went to university, there was a student, a little bit older than we were, and we knew that he was a secret policeman, and he was put into that group, you know, to spy, so we couldn't tell a joke about the politicians or about the system or anything, so you have to be very careful. Well, I had job like any other, like here summertime, you know, I went to usually do, you know, digging job, building sites or something like that. But when the university, then of course summertime we had to go into the army for the summer. Oh, that was very interesting. Like usually we were away right on the border, so, and the revolution usually started at the capital city, Budapest, and we heard rumors that there's some, uh, uneasiness in the capital city, and one day uh, the radio, we had two stations, there's only one Hungarian stations and nothing else we could listen to. Was nothing, just music. And then about the second day or so, we heard shots being fired outside, we heard. So then we knew that something was happening in the capital city. So then some students from our city went up to the capital city and they came back and said what happened. So we started up, the army of course sided with the people, so we got guns, machine guns, and so every university student in the city was walking around with a gun or a Tommy gun out of the shoulder. It was fun. What we did, this was a city which kind of protruded into Austria. So when the revolution really got going, a secret police tried to get out of the country, and that was a good way to come out. So what we did is kept an eye out, and any suspicious people we just arrested and locked them up at the university in a room. And I was one of the guards too. And our how they call it, captain or whoever, that was just got out of prison. He was a political prisoner. And he said, if anything happened, if the Russians come, just line them up and shoot them. And we said, gee, I was about 10 years old. I said, shoot them? I can't line up a bunch of people and shoot them. So what happened, and when the Russians came in November, we found that our artillery was how do they call it? They took out all their, was taken out the firing pin, so we couldn't use it. So we thought we better head for the border. And a whole bunch of us got on a truck, come to the border. We were already fight through the border. But the soldiers say, going to Austria? I said, yeah, we're going to Austria. And he said, some of them took off their uniform and got up on the truck, came out too. Which was a good move, because what happened is a friend of mine, he came out with me in Austria, and after a few days he decided to go back home. And he said, and a few days, and after 3 days later he was back in Austria. So we asked, what happened? Why did you come out? He said, well, he was with me guarding this secret police. And he said, I was walking on the street and somebody knocked on my back. And I said, I turned around and it was one of the guys we were guarding. And he told him, don't worry, you were a good guy, don't worry about anything. But then he thought, maybe other ones won't say it. So, so he came back to Austria. And Of course we were, because we came over the border, and we gone, and Austria was a neutral country, so they put us in a concentration camp. So we played soccer all day and bridge. Well, you know, at that age you don't worry too much about it, really. You get into the, you know. We didn't actually fight because nobody around to fight in that city, you know. The only thing I did, I guarded these people, suspected secret police, and one day I also got on a truck, and we took a number of trucks and food to the capital city, you know, because, you know, in a revolution you can't imagine how everything stops, you know. Everybody running different ways, and everybody wants to be a captain.
The communist world is feeling the power of the ballot box. In the Soviet Union, the reformers have triumphed and hardliners have suffered unprecedented defeats. In Budapest, the Hungarian government is preparing for elections which could end 40 years of one-party rule. On the eve of President Gorbachev's visit to Britain, this week examines one of the most remarkable upheavals in post-war Europe, the Hungarian Revolution. Budapest 2 weeks ago, and 20,000 Hungarians take to the streets to demand political justice. A few years ago, this march could not have taken place. Most people would have been too frightened to demonstrate. Those who did would have risked arrest.
I think this is the most important day of my life. The very first day when I felt free myself. Free to walk, free to express myself, and also maybe the first day when I was not afraid of doing so.
Today in Hungary, you can, within reason, say what you like and print what you like.
Demokratikus Magyarországot!
On March the 15th, 75,000 Hungarians turned out to demonstrate their open support for a set of demands which were once only whispered behind closed doors.
Első pont! Biztosítsák a választások tisztaságát és szabadságát. Második pont! Érvényesüljenek az emberi jogok! Szabadságot, önrendelkezést Kelet- és Közép-Európa népeinek! Semleges, független Magyarországot! Mondják ki a szovjet csapatokat határokon!
Magyarország egy fantasztikus ország, gyönyörű helyen, különleges kultúrával és tehetséges emberekkel. Büszkék vagyunk rá, és szeretjük a hazánkat. Szeretni Magyarországot annyit tesz, mint újra és újra egyesíteni a magyarokat. És a magyarokat csak a szabadság zászlaja alatt lehet egyesíteni.